Okay, I wrote this song like probably March of 2020, like right when everything kind of went, like the world just stopped. I didn't know what it was going to be. I didn't know what it was going to be for. I was probably just hiding in my basement trying to write songs to distract myself from the fact that I had no idea what the hell was going on in the world, you know? And then I made a demo of it and I put it aside, and then I just started writing a bunch of songs. You know, I wrote a bunch of songs for myself, and then months went by and we started jamming. Months went by again. And then one night I was sitting there and I was talking to my wife and I said, what do you think about Mistaken Information as a possible Alexis song? And she said, I've always imagined it as an Alexis song. I just never told you. And I was like, okay, that's a good sign. So then I sent it to them as like here's a demo I made of this song. I feel like there's a version for us in it. Everybody was in, right?
Yeah, I remember being really struck by like conceptually what the song was, because for me, and the reason why I liked it was because it works on a couple different levels. Like the song itself, and might just be my interpretation of it, but it's essentially about how, you know, at the time it seemed as though there was this war on the truth and what was the truth of any given matter was up to debate, and people just seemed very, very confused, and Dal had written this song that was in a lot of ways a political song, like a very political sort of song, but and I remember you voicing concerns in the studio, thinking that like someone's gonna hear this and think it's just a breakup song. And I'm like, it works as that though too.
Yeah.
It absolutely, like, you can listen to this and think it's about, you know, two people who are just like having a miscommunication or having difficulty communicating with one another. The song itself is just about being, you know, this concern that there's no longer, like, there's no truth left anymore.
Yeah.
And so yeah, I was really struck by it, and it was interesting the way it all came together. I remember the song happened, and you know, it obviously starts with Matt Kelly is in the forefront.
Yeah, but we should talk. We
too.
made just a sort of rock version of it.
Yeah.
Right. When we went into the studio, it was just us playing a kind of softer song, but it still had kind of a bit of a rockness to it. But it wasn't until McNeil took it to movie score land, right? Like,
yeah, and I remember
part,
he had to tell. We had the record is mixed by Jonah Falco of Fucked Up and Career Suicide, and he was living in his boat in the English Channel, and we sent it to him to get mixed. And I remember Wade was just like, he sent us through a mix of it, and Wade was just like, let's take this back to zero, and let's build it up in a way that is different from any other. Like, let's make this really dramatically different than a regular Alexisonfire song, and that's kind of what happened to it.
One of the most beautiful moments in the studio was what you were about to talk about with Matt Kelly. Matt Kelly we didn't really have a big plan for what he was going to do. He's talented enough that you just sit him in the room and he'll just figure it out.
Yeah.
So he was sitting in the room at the Juno, and he just started playing the melody of Mistaken Information. This melody on the Juno didn't exist yet. He just knows the chords, so he starts playing them. And we're all ready to set up, and Wade, like, I'm here, Wade's there, Steele's there, Matt's here. And I will never forget looking over at Wade, and Wade hearing the melody being played on the Juno, and he started crying. And I went over to him and gave him a hug, and he was like, it can be that? Because my demo was just like a band. There was no keys or no, right? And I was like, it can be that? You want it to just be that? Like, it can be whatever, it can be whatever we want it to be, man. You know? And so, and Wade's his brain went, you know, and they put, like, I came up with that weird synth guitar line, and Maddie's playing steel, and they bowed a bunch of stuff, and Wade really turned that, like, the song you hear on the record is, like, I feel like it's very cinematic.
Yeah.
Like the way it sounds, you know, it doesn't sound like a guitar, bass, drum song to me.
Absolutely.
It has this beautiful, like, ethereal quality to it, and that's Wade hearing Matt play the melody on a keyboard and go, you know, and his brain just went into overdrive, and then they built it in, and then the singing.
Well, that was the first time we've ever harmonized, I think.
Yeah. like that,
like where we were harmonizing with one another, like that's something that now we can do that, you know, like there was this new sort of angle vocally. But I remember when I was finished singing in the studio the song, I was immediately sad because I was really enjoying how much I was like it's a really beautiful song to sing, and I remember when I was done, I was like, I'm done doing that. I kind of want to just take a couple more passes at it, just because it's fun to it's beautiful. We had the headphones really like tuned in, and it just like it made me feel confident to sing, and so it's great, and I like the song. It's weird. Like we did I guess like an Old Crow's, like a song like Burial.
Yeah.
You know, like we were kind of starting to dabble in that. But honestly, like the song Burial, it felt like your song on the record.
Oh, it was.
Here's Dallas' song on the record. And I don't mean that in like a bad way. It's just like here's Dallas' song. Here was a song that traditionally, if this song had come out back then, it would have been your song.
Yes.
And not this collaborative, interesting thing that we kind of came up with together.
I think you saying it that way is
Yeah.
exactly like you saying it would have been my song. That's how we viewed this shit back then.
Yeah.
Right? It's like, and it wasn't because we weren't open to making it like this. We just didn't know how to. And I think because like I said earlier, because we got popular and then it became a thing. It was like our egos became part of it, and we were growing up.
Yeah.
You know, and it was like, this is my part, or, oh, George didn't sing on that. What does that mean? You know, like when Sidewalk When She Walks, when you're not singing, everybody's like,
yeah.
You know, but it's like, so we were viewing it incorrectly almost. Whereas even though I wrote Mistaken Information, we made it, it's not a me song, it's us playing it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's like, I think you're right. Like Burial does sound like,
well, it's just like it sounds like an Alexis song. I don't think it sounds like different from the
no,
from
but
the
I know what you're saying.
But like I think back then I would have thought, okay, here's where
Yeah.
Dallas does that. But that as a result, like, you know, those sorts of songs that were more centralized on one person were the songs that didn't really make it to stage a lot of the time.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like they were ones that we couldn't find ways to play together. This was a song that was, again, 2009, it would have been one of those songs. But now it's something that I think we're all active participants in.
Yeah.
You're singing like a machine with zeros in your eyes.
All of our songs are like that. I've written a lot of very esoteric lyrics that are like, you know, open to interpretation or whatever, and sometimes are hard to follow. And I've done that in the past. And like you meet people and they want to talk to you about your song, and they're like, okay, so this song, it's about this, right? And I was always hesitant to be like, yeah, no, that's not really what I was thinking. Like, I don't know, that song. The second you put the song out, it doesn't belong to you in that way. And if it means if you're getting some sort of feeling out of it that's leading you in a certain direction, I don't want to, because of my literal interpretation, because I was there for the conception of it, I don't want to change that for you. I want people to experience it the way they experience it, because there's value in that.
I agree.
Not just like, hey, no, this is how it's supposed to.
You also can't control how they're going to hear it and how they're going to feel it, right?
Yeah.
So it's like, by being too sort of tied to what you think it's about, you're not allowing the song to have any life outside of it. Whereas, like George said, like you write a song and you release it, you've given it away, especially nowadays. But you know what I mean? So like for me, when I wrote that song, I was angry. You know, even though I wrote a very kind of quiet, somber song, I was angry about what I was writing it about. And I think at first when we started it, I was worried that message was going to get lost. But when George told me that he liked it and he thought about it as being sort of this ambiguous thing that other people could relate to it in whatever way they seem fit, it actually started to make me like the song more again, you know? And I realized that I've already gotten out I've already gotten what I needed out of the song, you know? It will always be about what I wrote it about to me, but that doesn't mean somebody has to.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
somebody's
It's like, that's the best part about music, right?
Yeah.
It's like I don't know what it's like for you to listen to a tune, you know? I have no idea what it's like to how it makes you feel, or you know, you can do your best to try to like craft something and hope that you're putting something out that somebody will sort of hang on to, but if they're gonna listen however they listen, you know.